going to set up our project for our still life, which is going to be looking, oops, it's going to be looking like this, with a line drawing over the top, and we're going to be adding some detail into it. So we got a combination of the drawing and the painting happening here together to create a contemporary version of a classic art style called still life painting. And to begin this project, what we're going to do is we got to have our photograph first. So I went in and I photographed 3 objects that were important to me. This small vase, this sea otter skull, and these stones and sea treasures that I have with me, that I keep with me. And we're going to incorporate these into the design, and these are our subjects. This is the actual still life here. So, you know, the arrangement of these objects and the lighting is really important here too. So we're going to try and walk through everything from the beginning to the end in this quick video here. All right, the first place we want to start out from is going to the File menu and choosing New. Now we're going to do this one really big, just in case it comes out really well, and it's something that you're really proud of. We're going to do we're going to do 13 by 19, so 13 inches by 19 inches. And over here on the side, we can select inches, and we're going to change these numbers. They're going to say 13, and you can choose 13 by 19. One thing that's important to note about this is the orientation. If the width is smaller than the height, is automatically going to be put into portrait mode. I need mine to be in landscape mode, and so you can see here that these dimensions will shift. Up in the top here, we're going to call this, STILLLIFE, painting. And from there, we can go ahead and press OK. And this is a size, this is a printable size. It's for a big, it's for a large size print that you could frame up and put in your house. Excuse me. Jeez. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we're going to import our file. And I have mine saved into my art history brush folder. I made another folder here called Still Life with Skull. And I'm just going to rename this as well. Still Life with Skull. Press return. You know, the quick way to edit this is just to click on it, press return, and it's editable. You don't even have to do anything, just start typing. It's just that easy. And then I probably want to spell it correctly. And then we press return. And I'm just going to drag and drop this image into here, just like this. Real easy. Now, the first thing you'll notice is that this image does not fit this canvas, and that's because the 2 images are not the same size. And plus, there's a lot of things inside of this that I don't want. Like I see Nash in the background here. I don't really want Nash to be in my still life right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the Option key down. I'm going to transform this thing, and I'm going to start hold the Option key, and I'm going to scale it up. So first I'm going to scale it up. I'm going to fit the top and the bottom. Make sure that you adjust the settings so that you're not distorting. If you just grab it and you know, bend it like this, you're going to distort it. We don't want to do that. We want it to stay in the same ratio of height to width that the original image is. So here we go. I'm kind of cropping out Nash here. He's still there, but he's a little bit less. And the focus is really about these things right here. And if you notice in this arrangement here that the 3 elements here kind of make this triangular shape right here. And that's the composition that I was going for. So I just want to show that really quickly. I like that. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this layer. So Command J. I'm just going to copy that layer. So you see there's one over the top like this, right? We are going to ultimately be blurring this layer, but we want to preserve something of the original down here too. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a line drawing that goes over the top of this. And we're going to start out by reducing the opacity of this layer so we can see our brush strokes, but we can actually see the drawing. I mean that, excuse me, the photograph as well. And this is what it's going to look like. I'm going to start off by selecting a brush that serves the purpose of what we're doing here. So I think this charcoal champ, let's take a look. I'll draw with that. Has a nice quality to it. If you want to zoom in really close right here, line quality is really important. So selecting that line brush is really an important decision. Oh yeah, I like the quality of this. Yeah, see if I press down hard, I get a thin, a light mark. If I press down hard, I get a thick mark. If I press down lightly, I get a thin mark. And what I'm doing is I'm looking for the edges and where things overlap just a little bit. And I'm going to try and define those edges with this brush. Kind of swirl this around. And I see this in here. Now, in my opinion, I often think like the more detail, the better. See how this fades out right here? This is very pale. I'm drawing in red right now just to make it really obvious. See how this fades out right here? You can almost barely see it. I'm just going to let the line fade out right there as well. Excuse me. And then out here where the line is darker and there's a darker, more extreme edge to it, I'm just going to draw that in real heavy. And I wanted to point out something. If you're having a difficult time making these lines overlap, don't forget you have an eraser too. You can go back and clean these up if you want to. Just go back in here and like, you can do this here too. And you can make sound effects if you want to. If you're having trouble making the line clean, go ahead and increase the smoothing quality here and watch. It'll help you to make smoother lines as you draw through this. It must be cold and flu season because I have the sniffles. Sorry about that. I like as I draw, I want the weight of my line to increase and decrease. So I like the thin tapers. I'm going to look for areas where lines overlap too and then fade away. That gives a nice sense of form and space, that the idea that something is in front of something else. Like this edge is in front of that edge, right? In here, there's a lot of little details in here. I'm not going to draw every single little detail in here, but I am going to make a good effort to make sure that these things show up to some degree. And so this will take a little bit of work. You know, I'll go through it and just kind of like find the swirls and whirls, and sometimes things will overlap like this. Taking care in this part of this process is going to leave you with a much better, more satisfying result in your overall drawing. So I'm just going through and kind of like changing this. I'm going to show you a trick in the end here. I'm going to change these lines from red back to like a dark gray or something that looks like graphite. Okay, so in here, I'm going to swing around. Curves like this are always a little bit challenging. And don't hesitate to turn up the smoothing. You can go up to 100% on this and watch as I draw with this. Oh yeah, look at that smooth line. You do have to go slow, and you do have to be cautious. You know, can't just be reckless with it and expect it to come out effectively. Come down to the bottom. I'm going to lighten that up. I'm going to loosen that up just a little bit. You can also press R and rotate the canvas. I find this to be really helpful, rotating the canvas, because it allows me to move my hand in a more natural direction, and the lines that I create become a lot more accurate to what I want. Rotate again. I'm going to go this direction. I'm going to go this way with this curve. So just press R, the letter R, for rotation. And then I'm using the space bar, just holding the space bar to move through this project. And if you can listen to me and draw at the same time, I think that's probably the most effective way to do this. So if you got some headphones and you can get in and work, and just let this play while I'm giving the tutorial here as well. I'm gonna hit the eraser here and just go back and clean this up a little bit more because I do want it to be accurate. Because I care about the quality of the work that I turn in, you know, or that I produce. I shouldn't say that I turn in, that I produce. I care about the quality of the work that I produce. And I think it's important for you to care about the quality of the work that you produce as well, because it's a reflection of how you see yourself and how you want to project yourself to others as well. But, you know, art is a really personal journey always. And we all have our different styles, but I do think that you know, having some concern for the quality of the work that you turn in really says a lot about you and who you are and how you view yourself. Hey, if you ever want to get back to the reset of this view, press the letter R, and then right here at the top, boop, hit the reset view button, and you're right back to the position that it was before. I'll press Command 0 here, and we can see the drawing begin to take shape. I'm going to include some of the more detailed parts here, so I'm going to zoom in, B for brush, and definitely feel free to like play through this quickly. I'm going to turn down the smoothing again because I need to have the ability to make some wiggly lines, and sometimes when the smoothing's turned all the way up, you lose that ability to make the wiggly lines. I want to make sure that I'm zoomed in very close. You know, I often see people trying to draw from far away, and I think it's a really big mistake to try and draw detailed work from far away. By the way, speaking of details, if you want to draw in some things like shadow, like see this shadow right here? A couple of lines like this can help to illustrate that there's a shadow there. Those are called hatching lines. And you can even put them in like here. Some cool circular shapes down in here. Yes, yes. Let's go clean this up a little bit. Back to B for brush. Very nice. And yeah, some of these things like in here, there's going to be some little marks like this to kind of cover up and show that there's value there without having to draw in. I'm not trying to color this whole thing in. Please don't color in big blocks of dark, because that's going to be where the painting is. So again, we zoom out, starting to get more detail going on here. Whoops, we'll zoom in, back to the brush. I love the way that the lighting in this room, in my living room, creates this really nice shadow in here. I like that shadow in there. And I can't wait to see that come out in the final painting. Let's see what that looks like. There's some of these little dips and whirls in here. Maybe just adding in like some small marks to show those qualities. Dip down into here. Come across this way. And again, I'm going to zoom in here. Keep this going, and I'll try and fast forward this part just a little bit so we can run through the whole thing. More quickly. I'm going to pick up some speed here. Just drawing in these lines. Okay, I'm going to stop right here for just a second. I want to show you something. You can see all of my line drawing here. Oh yeah, it's looking beautiful. It's coming together. I want to change these lines to black. Right now they are red because I used a red color so it would show up really clearly. But check this out. If you double click on a layer right here, like double click here, it's going to bring up this menu. And in this menu, there's all kinds of different things that you can do with a layer. So you can add a stroke to a line, all kinds of stuff here. I'm going to trash a bunch of those things right here. Just trash, trash, trash. Okay. Because I don't really want that. What I want is this, the color overlay. And when we hit the color overlay, we want it to be set to normal. And you'll see the color of the line change. So what we're doing is changing the color of the pixels. Now if we want it to be more gray, we want it to be more light. You could even make it white if you wanted to. But I would say for this one, let's stick with a kind of like graphite kind of look to it. So something that's in the grayscale. And then press OK. And you see here's the detail. So I clicked on the word color overlay. The blend mode is set to normal. And I adjusted the color right here. I'm going to press OK. And now when I turn off the image, I have a nice pencil type drawing, right? All right, let's move on. Let's go to the next part. Get rid of that. So working from this, I'm going to press Command J to duplicate. And this is what we had before. You can see I have a couple layers over the top. I have this drawing layer here, and then I have this other drawing layer here, and then my line drawing over the top. And this was just showing the arrangement. Now, in here what we're going to do is go to our history right here. Oops. Command 0, there we go. And we're going to make a new document from the current state. And this is how we use the art history brush, right? So new document from the current state. That's this button right here in the history palette. If you don't see it, go to Window and History and choose this one. Moving forward, what we're going to do, we're going to jump into, we've done this before with our art history brush. So we're going to be working with this set of brushes way down here at the bottom. It's the last set that we installed, which is, come on now, way down here at the bottom. I have this whole thing opened up. I should have just closed it up. It's the Texture Lab brushes, the oil paint brushes. And I'm just using the same ones that we used for the last one because I like the way that they work. I like the way that they interact. And Texture Lab oil paint. This is the one that we had for our portrait that we did. And I'm going to select my art history brush. So finding your tools wherever they may be here in this. I got quite an arrangement going on here. Bring up my tools. Whoops. Oh, there they are. Okay. Sometimes it gets difficult to find everything. We're going to use the art history brush. Make sure you're using the art history brush and not the history brush. Art history brush, I'm going to start with the big brush. And again, just real quick, like going across it. Make sure that you're, getting the whole thing, but not staying in one part too long. We're just trying to brush out all the details. See, there goes Nash, he's gone. Next we're going to switch to the noodle brush, and we're going to bring back some of the detail here. So coming through here. Now if the noodle brush gets too crazy for you and you're making too many marks outside the line, outside of the shapes that you want it to, you want to keep kind of painterly. You want to have the brush stroke look to it. Remember, we're looking for the brush strokes in this. I know a lot of you guys are going to have a difficult time with letting go of the brush stroke. Letting go of the photorealism, right? But we're trying to make brush strokes. Next, I'm going to switch to the medium brush, and I'm going to go back and kind of hit the areas where the noodle brush might have been a little too heavy-handed, and I'm going to come in and bring back some of that painterly look. Remember, I'm just spotting with this one. I'm just like kind of dabbing at the surface to bring back some of that texture. We can switch to the small brush if you want to get in the detail of some of these areas. So maybe like detail area like this. I have some details in here that I might want to pull back out. Maybe the bottom edge underneath here. maybe work the edges of the shell right here, because I want to bring in some of the highlights and stuff that are in there, just to help me as a guide for the next step, which is going to be to draw in going to be to draw in some of the details manually, so we're going to use our hands to do that. And then we have the fine-tuning one down here at the bottom. I don't think there's anything in these. Maybe there is in yours. I take that back. Like, I don't really know. If there are fine details that you want to bring back, use the fine brush. Like, for example, I guess I could find some fine spots in here where, like, I want to bring back some of that red, or I want the underside of this to be a little bit cleaner. So I'm going to bring back the edge of the shadow here. I think that's important to consider in this. I want to move up here. And then maybe down inside of here. Boy, that brush tip is so small, it gets difficult to see. Sometimes it gets lost in there. All right, this is part one. And that was all completed in just this one session. I can see some spots that I might want to come back in. Oh yeah, let's bring some of that color of the skull back in here. There we go, we're overlapping there a bit. I like that right there. Go ahead and press Command S and save your still life. And if you can, save to the cloud, but also save to your folder. So just to make sure everything's getting saved. So I'm going to go, notice there's two options here. Save is going to save to Creative Cloud. That means that wherever your account is, and this includes at home, once it syncs up at home, you can have access to this. So you have access to all these apps at home if you have a computer that can do it. I know that's a little bit unfair because not everybody has access to it, but if you do, you can use these at home. So File, this is the other way to do it, File, and then Save As, and instead of saving to the cloud, we're going to say Save on your computer. And we're going to navigate to Multimedia 2, Semester 2, that Art History brush. And I have my Still Life with Skull. I made another folder for this one. I think it's probably prudent of you to make a new folder to put these things into, as long as you know where your stuff is. Press save. Different artists work in different ways. There's all kinds of different ways to go about this. But I think the most important thing to understand is that you have to be able to access the stuff that you're, that you're saving. So if you don't know where the heck you're saving it to, you're making a lot of trouble for yourself. Okay, that's it. That's phase one. That's step one right there. And thanks for watching. Ask me questions if you need to. Just raise your hand. Say, hey, Mr. Cross, can you explain something to me? And I'll come by and help you out. All right, thanks a lot.